Hi, this is Rajveer from I4 Mentors Foundation. We are a not-for-profit accelerated by alumni of IIT Delhi and I'm Bangalore. Happy to share conversations with some of our mentors and cohort leaders. We are starting a cohort soon. Look forward to seeing you there soon.
Success requires one to focus on problems identified very well. Okay, just to you mentioned about my exposure in J&J. I was part of a team, a very large team, uh, which was into blood glucose monitoring devices. And typically, like most multinationals, we would introduce products, which were for the US market or the international market and bring them to India. And they would only get as much traction, not so much traction. So we actually went back to our customers who were not only patients but also physicians and asked them as to India is supposed to be the diabetes capital of the world, and why is it that doctors and patients are reluctant to get into monitoring? So they told us that your product is has too many features. You know what we need is something which is closer to what we do in practice, and what doctors in India asked patients to do was write down readings in a notebook. So what we did is, I think, thanks to the team at Johnson and Johnson, both in India, in the Asia Pacific region, and international J&J, the parent, LifeScan, the parent company, we were focused on doing something, and we heard the customer. And literally, I think one of the few cases where we made a product for this part of the world. The product, was tested in India based on feedback from some key opinion leaders in India, and the market just blew up. It actually triggered a lot of competitive activity, which also grew the market. You know, so the key is to understand who you're serving. In case of healthcare, it is always the patient or people. In India and in the world, there's a lot of undiagnosed disease. So till get not a very good label of a patient, you are a person. And so the key is to focus on what the person or patient, the central P does. And there is a pentagon of P's around this, comprising of the provider, which is basically another term for hospitals, the physicians who actually treat you, the payers, the insurance companies. In India, though, the insurance penetration is just about 30%, but still that segment is growing. Then the pharmacy, or you may want to call it the pipeline, another P. And then the policy. We have just seen that in COVID, when people, because of a health scare, could not work, how the economy got hit. And the health of the people is a key part of. If there are no people, no infrastructure will work actually. So it is about. So these are the 6 stakeholders in healthcare. The patient, the provider, the payer, the policy maker, and the pharmacy. And all of these are working to serve the patient, and it is always about improving outcomes. Improving outcomes, and given the constraints in the country. If you go back to the LifeScan example of J&J, which I gave you, see that product had one memory, just one last memory, last result. When contemporary products in the US of J&J itself had 250 memory and 14-day average, 7-day average, but this product, it did so well that this platform was transferred to another platform in the US. Similar looking, product was launched there in multicolors now. There had to be something different to excite people there. and then actually took J&J to market leadership. It is also about increasing the throughput of existing infrastructure, So technology coming in for quick diagnosis. It will make your current doctors, current radiologists more productive. So that is so the space is very exciting, and ever since and it is so exciting that the moment we created the joint mentoring program, I was amazed that some some startups I could tweak towards healthcare, and with good results, they immediately got funding. Yeah, and there are some very exciting. There were some very good startups. Just about, I think, day before yesterday, yesterday's Times of India carries a story about a partnership between Triple IT Delhi and GB Pant Hospital. Very interesting thing. So typically people who've had a heart attack, 10% is the mortality of people who've had an angioplasty, within the first 30 days, or there's some such statistic. Now, this statistic with which our doctors work is based on models, Western models, where access may not be an issue. So there are some 31 parameters, including maybe time to angioplasty, how easy it will come as part of access. Okay. So Triple IT Delhi and GB Pant Hospital, they have actually partnered to create an AI engine which can help them uh, categorize the risk of people who had a heart attack and undergone treatment, because they can modulate some of these parameters and ensure lower mortality.
Welcome to Conversations with Mentors. We are mentors from IIT Delhi and I'm Bangalore. I4 Mentors Foundation. We are a not for profit. We are starting a cohort soon, and these are conversations with cohort leaders.